Frédéric Lemoine, you're chairman of the executive board of Wendel. Thank you for meeting with us today at the end of Investors Day. It's been a very busy quarter for you. You've sold off Stalergen. Momentum has picked up, obviously. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Of course. We are on plan with our roadmap. Last year was a year of restructuring to put all the Wendel Group in order, and we had announced that we would accelerate. That's what we've done in the recent months. We have disposed some of our assets, Stalergen, where we have been a long-time shareholder for 17 years, but also some shares in Legrand. We have done a bond issue in October to reimburse some of our shorter-term bank debt, and we have also sold some of our puts in Saint-Gobain in order to be more exposed to the evolution of the Saint-Gobain share price, because we are very confident in the long-term objective that have been announced by Saint-Gobain management.
Okay. Well, you've sold off Stalergen after holding it for almost 17 years. Can you tell us a little bit more about why you sold it now?
Oh, that has been a very long success story. We have invested 9 million euros in Stalergen in 1993. So the value creation is huge, more than 300 million euros of capital gain, 35 times our initial investment. That was a good financial exit to sell it now. From an industrial point of view, we were very attached to find the proper shareholder, which we believe we have found with RS Life Sciences, which is specialized in this sector and which will help Stalergen to develop further, notably in America.
Well, one of the high points of today's Investor Day is the net asset value, which increased to 85 euros. That's a 36% increase over just a couple of months since you last published it in August. What's behind the increase?
That's an impressive increase indeed, but it reflects both the evolution of the stock markets, which was favorable between the two periods, but it also reflects the evolution of the performances of our companies, notably the listed companies, but also the non-listed companies, where there is a huge amount of value to create. We have announced that they have reached nearly 800 million euros today, and that there could be around 2 billion, between 1.5 and 2.5 billion euros at the end of 2013.
Right. Well, 26% of your consolidated revenues come from high-growth markets. Are you particularly focusing on transactions with broad high-growth market exposure, and how are you positioning yourself to benefit from these markets going forward?
This is a key element of our strategy, to be more and more exposed to high-growth areas. All of our group's companies have a clear strategy to develop on these markets, in China, in India, in Brazil, in all the different countries, depending on the sectors where our companies operate. They invest internally, they acquire companies, 12 in 2010 until now. They are partnering with local groups in order to increase substantially their share. Bureau Veritas, for instance, has 1/2 of its business in emerging countries. Saint-Gobain industrial activities are nearly 1/3 exposed to emerging countries. So that's a clear strategy. We expect as a group to go from 26% to 1/3 of our consolidated revenue soon.
All right. Well, one of the other key features today is that you published that you've got 2 billion euros in cash. What are your plans for that cash?
Well, 1.3 billion is completely available. A little bit more than 600 million euros is pledged against our debt. So we have a lot of cash, but we will certainly continue to reimburse progressively our debt. But also we will invest in new companies where we have selected the right ones to complement our very good series of leaders.
Given that you're back on the acquisition trail, what sectors and geographies do you favor at the moment?
Well, you know, the most important is to select very good companies that are leaders and have the ability to be leaders on the long term. We invest in new companies as if we will be shareholders for 20 years, I would say. That means that they are supported by long-term trends which will make them as successful investment as Telagen has been for us.
And looking forward over time, how are you going to extract value from the group's companies? You've talked about 5 pillars or leverage pillars.
That's true. Our strategy is basically to create value through our NAV, and the NAV will increase thanks to, one, the performance of our company. This is key. Internal growth and external growth has resumed and will carry on supporting the result of our company. The second lever is clearly the underlying value of our unlisted assets, which is still to be expressed in our NAV, since their enterprise value is only 800 million euros higher than their debt, so there is much room for improvement. The third lever is the debt leverage on our balance sheet, which is a huge driver for value creation, as experienced in the last 12 months. Our share price has increased by more than 60%. And the fourth and fifth levers are about acquisitions by our companies, and also new investments that we will do directly.
Okay, what kind of guidance are you giving us for 2011, and what would you like to leave investors with?
I think we are on a very good track and very good dynamic. It will carry on certainly over 2011 and 2012 because of the 5 drivers that I've mentioned. Obviously, it will be supported by high growth areas where we are very much exposed, and I really think that it will be also supported by a progressive ramp up of more mature economies, notably in the construction sector.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks to you.